You might recognize her from Trinity fame. The very famous menopause mama, Rose Weaver, joins us in studio. So I'd like to welcome Rose. How are you?
Hi, Molly.
Good to see you. You look absolutely fantastic. You look amazing. Oh, thank you.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. And my assistant intern is around the corner, Elizabeth Liu, and I just want to make sure that she gets a little thank you.
Oh, yes. Well, yeah, she did a great job reaching out to us. So thank you so much for coming to Go Local Live. We're in the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center. So tell us a little bit about Menopause Mama. You're reviving this, bringing it back, and you have some shows coming up in East Providence and in Providence starting
Yes.
out for March.
Yes. You know, I did the show in the beginning because I started going through the change of life and I didn't know what that was.
Yeah.
Nobody ever talked to me about it. And at the time, I was starting graduate school at Brown as a 48-year-old. And
Which, good for you.
yeah,
That's
and
amazing.
lifetime learner. And I started writing the show after seeing the Vagina Monologues and some other solo shows that I really fell in love with. And I thought, I can help people and have something I can perform forever. And that's why I decided to do it again. I had some family problems I had to deal with, and I stopped doing it for quite a while. But I wrote it because it would always give me a show.
And you do this by yourself. You're up there
Yes.
by yourself.
Yes.
You are solo performing, you're singing,
Yes.
and I heard there's a little bit of a rap in there.
Yeah, you want to hear it?
I do.
I mean,
I
I
do.
can either try to punch it up
No.
on my phone or do it just
I know.
me.
She said
Okay.
I could send you a rap audio clip, and I was like, why doesn't she just do it live for
I
us?
will if you want.
Okay, I would love
And I was
that.
doing rap this thing way before Hamilton, so. it's
No,
kinda
this
fun
is
for me.
great. This is great.
Yo, I listen up to the mama in a drama about the change. I'm feeling like an arrow, target ready, taking aim. Some think I'm going crazy, yeah, acting insane. Well, damn right, I got an attitude, but let me explain. I said, who decided the rules to diss my clock? To say I gotta keep ticking when I wants to talk. To say growing old is ugly and sad. To throw me away like trash, like I just been had. Ow. Now they say about 40, our best life begins. But some dim-wits won't let us win. To be women now, wise and strong, and lifting us up where we belong. Well, I'm 68 now, and in another phase. It's me writing chapters for my next stage. You men and you women, listen up and take note. This sister's not crazy. She's got a new coat.
I love it. I love it. That was fantastic.
Thank you.
And you're 68?
Actually, I'll be 68 in April.
I was going to say, you look phenomenal. You look fantastic.
I look at aging as a pro-aging thing instead of anti-aging, and that's why
That's great.
it's important for me to continue doing the show, because I want women and men and young girls and boys to see that aging is a positive thing. It's not negative, and we need to stop treating it in that way. So, yeah, I know there are a lot of anti-aging products out there, and I buy some of the products, but I don't like that phrase because it's saying that it's against us. It's against aging.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that you say you're pro-aging. I think, like you said, you're coming into your body. You're figuring things out. So let's talk a little bit about that. And I was reading your bio, and I was reading some of these notes on when you were performing at Trinity, you were forgetting some things, and you were concerned and worried about what that meant.
Girl.
And that's how things kind of developed into Menopause Mama.
I was walking into a scene. It was August Wilson's piano lesson at Trinity. And August Wilson's materials, it's always wordy, and beautiful. It's poetry, it's prose. But coming down the steps into the scene this particular night, my head was totally blank. I couldn't think of my lines. Oh my goodness, it was the most terrifying moment ever.
I can't imagine.
I walked into the scene, and Ricardo Pitts Wiley and some other actors from out of town were on stage, and they're looking at me, and I'm looking at them, and I'm praying that nobody freaks out. I'm just staying in character as best I can until something comes.
Yeah.
And it was a long, pregnant pause, but it did. It came, finally. And it was that really started me thinking about what was going on with me. I thought it was Alzheimer's.
That must have been, so terrifying. And then you come to find out that it's not. It was just menopause.
Yeah, but just menopause is
Yeah.
not just menopause.
No, exactly.
It affects the whole family. And I realized after this experience that we need to address the whole family.
Mm-hmm.
And so I encourage 14-year-olds, however young a young girl is and getting her period, her menstruation, to come and see the show, because you learn a lot about this whole process. We go through these stages. And their chunks and their cycles. Yeah, exactly. Cycles in every way. Not just literally, but figuratively as well.
True. Yes, true.
Yeah.
So, and you said you encourage young girls. Do you encourage men to come? Who do you
Yes.
encourage to come? Because I don't think it just affects women of that age.
No, it affects the whole family. And men are going through the change of life too. They call it andropause instead of menopause. Don't you wonder sometimes why men is in every one of those things that have to do with us? But that's another story. But I encourage the whole family to come and see it because they can be supportive of each other when this is happening. It can be a crazy time. I'm having a hot flash right now. And
it is kind of warm in here, don't worry.
Over it, but I'm not. And so I include men actually in the writing of the script in the show, and I sing a song. And you know, it's funny, but it's true at the same time. The song is called The Blue Pill, but it's all about the flow of energy and blood flow. I mean, all of our body is about the flowing of blood through our whole systems, and that affects every part of us. It affects every part of us, and so this song sort of captures the confusion and the hurt and the discombobulated feeling that men get when they have started to go through that. And men start going through it as young as, 35, 40 years old. They have to start dealing with it and not be ashamed of it.
Do you think this is important right now? Especially we're going into Women's History Month and there's a lot going on politically. Do you think this is a good time to bring this back and encourage women to celebrate themselves?
Yes, I purposely chose March as Women's History Month to bring it back, and a lot of friends agreed. And I have a wonderful group of friends who give me a little coaching and everything, men and women. But March, being Women's History Month, we focused on it. It's a great time to start it. And I want to travel it around, but I want to travel it around Rhode Island first, in New England. And so we're starting the shows. The YWCA is celebrating its 150th.
That's amazing.
Empowerment, so we're doing a show at Pinelli's. It's going to be downstairs. We were going to do it upstairs, but it's not handicap accessible upstairs, really. So we're doing it downstairs, and it's going to be fine. One show, and it'll be on March 6th. That's a Monday. It's an early evening, so you can still come out and enjoy yourself, have some dinner, and see the show. And then on March 5th is the first show, and that's going to be at the Southside Cultural Center. And they've got a wonderful space on the first floor. I know there's a theater upstairs, but that first floor space is just as good, and the acoustics are great.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's a nice stage, and it will seat, about 150, 160.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, so I'm going to do that one. It'll be at 3 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon when folks get out of church. They can come on over there. And then I'm going to do what we're calling dinner theater, basically at the Pot of Fur. Upstairs, Bob Burke has been really generous in providing rehearsal space for me, and then we're going to do 5 shows there, Tuesday through Saturday.
Yeah, you have a stretch of shows, so if they miss it on one of those other times, they have a good long stretch to be able to come check you out.
And have a 3-course meal. 3-course French gourmet meal. It's going to be fun.
Not bad.
I love the idea of food and beverage and music or theater. Trinity does it too. I mean, people come in with their beverages and they sit and eat a few nuts quietly while the show starts. And I want to do that with my show.
And have people relax and you said you want to relaunch this here locally, but you've performed all along the West Coast. I was reading you said you've been to Bermuda. Do you feel like fans and people who are watching you react in the same way, because this is really a universal thing?
Yeah. And I think they love it, and this is ours, though. It's homegrown right here in Providence. But yes, I took the show to Los Angeles and had a great time with it before I had to start taking care of my family. The Los Angeles Women's Theater Festival, my show was, in fact, my picture of one of the postures I do at the end, this triumphant woman, was on the cover of one of their seasons. And I do hospitals and different kinds of community organizations. James Seymour opened a conference with a message.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. And Bermuda, they flew. Amy Budd was my stage manager at the time. Amy now has just graduated from Carnegie Mellon, and she's teaching there.
And she's teaching. Wow.
Yes. But Amy Budd was my stage manager, and she and I flew to but we had. It was the only time though that the electricity actually went out
Oh
over the whole island.
no! And you just kept going, or?
Yeah. It wasn't on the night that we performed.
Okay.
It was the night before.
Okay, that's good. I was in, I've dealt with that experience being on a tropical island without power, and it gets hot. So I'm glad you didn't have to perform without it.
It was hot. So, but it was fun.
What is your favorite thing about performing? I can't imagine, I mean, you're multi-talented, you've won awards, and you can sing, you can rap, obviously, you can act, and you do it all on your own. What's your favorite thing when you get to, when you get out there on stage? What do you love doing?
Performing, telling stories, acting those stories, acting songs. I just love it. There's something about it. Well, I know for a fact that it saved my life more times than ever. Some of the anger, and I can get pretty feisty. You know, I'm a Southern woman. By you know, my childhood, I grew up in the South around these really, you know, sassy Southern women.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna have to pull myself back periodically.
Sometimes.
Yeah, but on stage I can let go because I'm now involved in the character, and I can try and be that character. Leave me outside the door if I have to.
That's a good point. You can leave yourself outside and just let it all loose up there.
Yeah.
And you were saying that kind of how this evolved, you forgot things, and that was worrisome. When you're doing this one-person show, you don't really have anyone to fall back on.
No.
Is it scarier, or do you think, well, if I forget something, I'll just go with something else because it's all you?
It is scripted, though. This isn't
Yeah.
improvisation. I mean, there's room in the piece to improvise, to react to people in the audience. You know, every now and then somebody will say something.
Yeah.
I'd say, well, I understand that. Or they'll
Yeah.
sneeze, and I'll say, bless you. I mean, in this together. Afraid, but I do get butterflies.
Oh,
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get butterflies. I've been doing this for a while too, and I'm nervous all the time.
So,
Do you think though that getting butterflies means
yes. And I do. I care about being good. I don't compete with anybody. I compete with myself.
Yeah.
And that's the way I've always been. I try to encourage my friends who are doing something that's going to help themselves and others. And my show, that's how I feel about it. So I really want to do it well. And so I'm in rehearsals. Elizabeth and I are working our tails off to try to get it in shape. Just the two of us, with the help of a handful of people, Kathy Jellison and Bob Silvis and Bob Berg and Patty Burks, and you know, I've got people who are really helping me instead of having a 30-member team like I did when I opened the show at Perishable Theater years ago. But we're changing some things for this one. I'm changing the way I look. Instead of the very, you know, pretty but sort of countrified entrance that I make in a beautiful pinks and colors and everything else, Karen Baxter, who is my consultant right now, is saying, you need to come out looking like the 21st century mom. And so I'm like, what does that look like?
Yeah, what is that? Yeah.
What does that look like? And she basically described the look. And I agree.
That's who you are? Like, you
Yes.
own that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because that's who I am. And I am still menopause mama, even though I'm a little bit on the other side of it. I feel like I'm still an attractive woman. And why am I going to go around looking dowdy?
Mm-hmm.
Unless that's what I want, and I don't. I like red lipstick.
Exactly.
So,
Little lipstick can always make you feel good.
yeah, and you know, and that's the other thing about Menopause Mama. We're not putting down the things that women enjoy doing. We're encouraging them to do what makes you feel good. That's what it's about. We don't have to do anybody's I said so. As long as you feel good about it, it makes you feel good, then it's a time for joy and celebration. Even those moments when it's not joyful. And menopause, going through the change, it's a difficult process. Our brains are being rewired. Totally, just like they're being rewired for a young girl or a young boy to go into puberty, our brains are rewired to come out of those stages, those cycles.
Yeah.
It's being rewired for something else. So we use our wisdom now to encourage young people, to encourage ourselves, to encourage all ages, to just be present with where you're at. and not try to like pretend you're something else. You know, I'm not going to go running around trying to be, 25-year-old, but I can wear short skirts. If I feel like it and my legs look good to me, I'm going to do it.
Phenomenal. Yes. Good. Well, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you.
And we really appreciate it. I'm pulling up, let's see. So you have a couple shows coming up this month.
Mhm.
Or excuse me, we have East Providence is March 3rd.
That's at Pinelli's.
Yep, at the YWCA. We have the Southside Cultural Center is March 5th. And then you have the Dinner Theater coming up. That's March 21st through the 25th. So
Yes.
if you missed the first show, you'll be around for a little while longer. So we really
Yes.
appreciate you, Rose Weaver, for coming on. Menopause of Mama.
And we're looking to do it in other places. So people can contact me to book a show,
That's fantastic. So great to have you.
Molly.
Such a pleasure to
And I'm
meet
proud of
you.
you too. The show's great.
Oh, thank you so much. Such a pleasure. Thank you so much. Good luck, success.
you.
Keep in touch, and we'll see how it's going.